What's going on, guys? So Ellis here. So sorry I missed last week's Whiteboard Wednesday. Things going on, went off social media for a few days, mum's birthday and stuff, so just thought I'd give it a missed out week. But back on it now, so hopefully back in the swing and things will be every week. Hopefully I'll have a bit more fitness, like training content as well. Now I can train clients outdoors and stuff, so keep an eye on the Instagrams and stuff. I'll put the link in the bio, in the bio caption, whatever you want to call it. Description. So basically today we're going to talk about intermittent fasting. So it's been around for years. Celebrities endorsing it, fitness influencers endorsing it. Talked about things being endorsed to exploit people's lack of information. On one of the episodes called "Are You Being Exploited?" So basically people will pick and choose what they want to hear out of studies and stuff. They won't give you the full context of it. They'll be like, this is magical because it does this. You'll see this later on when I go into more detail on this. Just because then they can sell you a product. So like there's been like coffee blends and stuff based around this intermittent fasting, which got 0 calories and stuff. BCA companies have said, oh, you can buy our supplements because we got 0 calories, when it does have like at least 1 calorie, so it breaks your fast and stuff. So just be careful, guys. So I'm going to give you a non-biased approach today. So I'm going to tell you some of the benefits, some of the drawbacks, where people are taking information and misrelaying it. So they're just pinching what they want to hear and what they want to tell you without giving you the full context. So basically all intermittent fasting is basically not eating for a prolonged period of time. So you've got like, not sure what the names are, but like people will only eat between 2 p.m. and 8 p.m. or 2 p.m. and 10 p.m. People might go 3 days without eating, but consuming water and maybe a black coffee or black tea, and then they'll eat for 2 days and stuff like that. There's various reasons why people do it. They talk about like brain health, cancer reduction and stuff like that. Personally, I don't get into that side. I'm not a nutritionist. I'm level 5 sports nutrition qualified, so I am solicited to give you advice. But for me, I stick into whether it's for health, so for fat loss or muscle gain. I don't go into like illnesses, diseases and stuff like that. It's not my strong field, so I don't want to put information out there and get someone hurt. But I think that's important for me to stick to my beliefs. Obviously, if I was then to go get more information on there and I was to do enough research into the health benefits, whether it does improve cognitive function and stuff, I would feel more comfortable to give that information. But my job as personal trainer or fitness coach, I'm here to get you in good shape and improve your health, but as a byproduct of getting you into good shape. I don't look at cognitive function and stuff. I haven't got a PhD on that, I haven't got a degree on that, so that's not my thing, so I won't get into that. And I think a lot of people need to stick to their sort of industry or their barriers. A lot of people are putting these claims out there. If you've got 10,000 followers on Instagram, people are going to believe whatever you say. If I'm telling you like, if you have mud for breakfast, it increases your anabolic function and stuff like that, people are going to believe it. So I think it's important to stick to what you know, do enough research, enough due diligence on it, rather than, because you could be putting someone's health at risk. So just very important. So just to let you know that, guys. So I'm not going to talk about too much health. I'm going to talk more about the fitness related aspects of it. And obviously health can be a byproduct of that, but like I said, I'm not going to get into it. So there's actually limited data on intermittent fasting, believe it or not. Most of the studies are completed on mice. Mice are tiny compared to a human. Like I'm 6'3", so a mice is what, 20 times smaller than me probably. Obviously you can get bigger ones, you get smaller ones. But that means then their metabolic functions are faster. They only live for about, I think it's 3 years. Obviously I'm not a mice expert, so if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I think it's about 3 years. So their metabolic functions are faster. So again, I think to do a study on a mice and then compare it to a human, for me, I don't think you could take that information. There'll be certain things that you could be like, well, if you slow this down, so their functions are tenfold faster than ours. So if you slowed their functions down by tenfold, you get the XYZ, but how accurate is that? You don't know, because it might not work the same, because our functions are different. We've got different bodily systems and stuff like that. So so it's not actually that looked into on a human, which is pretty negative when you take research. So obviously, if you're saying that's going to happen to a mouse, great, but is it going to happen to a human? You don't know. So I think that's important as well to get across. People will say it's optimal for fat loss. How is it? Fat loss happens because you're in a calorie deficit. Weight gain happens because you're in a calorie surplus. So even if you're fasting but you're in a calorie surplus, it don't mean now you're going to lose weight because you're fasting. It just means you're going to eat in a smaller period of time, but you're still going to put on weight. But again, most of the studies on humans now, they follow a calorie deficit and they're on a resistance training program. So when you're looking at the results of it, is, for me personally, how would you know that result become either because of the calorie deficit, because of the resistance training program, or because of the intermittent fasting? Then you've got to look at other controls, so their food choices. Is their health benefits coming from the fasting, the calorie deficit? Is it coming from the resistance training program, or is it coming from the food they're eating? Because most people know you follow a diet, let's say, and you're going to pick better food. If you want to lose weight, you're not going to start eating KFC unless you do the if it fits your macros diet, but you're going to probably start having a bit more veg on your plate because you can be a bit more health conscious. But then obviously the vitamins, the minerals and stuff in veg can cause health benefits. So how do you know, until the food groups are controlled as well, how do you know where the benefits are coming from? You don't. So you could be saying this benefit comes from this, but you're in a deficit as well. So you've got two controls that are not giving you a certain answer. So so just be careful with that as well, guys. Read what their control variables are when they're doing these studies as well, because like I said, they'll say they're intermittent fasting, but then if they're in a calorie deficit, they're following a resistance training program as well. Can you get the benefits? I'm going to go into this later because it actually shows you can get the benefits from just following calorie restriction, being in a calorie deficit, or just following a resistance training program as well. That's pretty much the overview. So it's going to be quite a long one, sorry guys, but we're going to go into some of the benefits now. So it's been shown to improve insulin sensitivity, which is obviously, people think it's related to fat loss, so weight loss. It is, but it isn't. For me, I just look at a calorie deficit, you're hitting fat loss. Calorie surplus, you're hitting fat gain or weight gain or muscle gain, depending on how you're doing it. So we're going to go into a bit of insulin sensitivity. So like I said, insulin itself doesn't cause weight gain, being in a calorie surplus does. So don't worry too much about that, but basically insulin's role is to facilitate storage of nutrients in various storage sites. So once these insulin levels are elevated, basically it becomes hard to break down the fatty acids from the fatty stores in the body. But insulin does balance itself out throughout the day. So basically when you're fasting, your insulin levels are low. When you're eating, your insulin levels are high. So just because you fasted for 6 hours, then ate, because it was negative, and now let's say you -6, like these are just random numbers, and then you've eaten, so you've added 6, you're still on 0. So it's just going to balance out throughout the day. So again, how accurate that is, and like I said, insulin sensitivity, unless you're diabetic, don't really worry too much about it. Next one, decreased levels of hunger. So basically, it puts you in a mild state of ketosis. I'll go on to that another time, it's a long one as well. Creates a mild state of ketosis, which then produces ketone bodies. So one of them ketone bodies, probably saying this wrong, beta hydroxybutyrates, which is associated with reduction of hunger, or reduction of appetite, sorry. But most studies show that's only in obese people. So if you're already lean, you might not see this reduction. So yeah, just be careful of that. Again, might be saying this one wrong. I think there's an American way and a British way of saying it. Increased autophagy, I'm going to go with autophagy, yeah. So basically that's just a cellular cleaner. So basically you have a cell called lysosome, which will consume all the damaged and dead cells in the body, which obviously is a great thing, and I believe it can repair. Again, I haven't gone too much detail on this yet. It's coming up soon in my studies as well. So, but yeah, so a 20% calorie restriction is also shown to increase this as well, guys. So if you're just in a 20% calorie deficit, you've increased your autophagy levels. Again, it's limited data. Some of the data shows it improves your immune system, but again, not my strong point. I'm not looking into immune systems, so until I update you on that, guys, just do your own research on that one, because again, I don't personally know enough on that one. But then it is also linked to neural degeneration, muscle wastage, and cancer. Too much autophagy is bad for you, basically. If you're always in this autophagy, you're gonna then clean up some cells that don't need to be cleaned up. They might only need a repair, but you might remove them instead. Then obviously, so yeah, increasing this all the time will cause you harm. So that's why people will introduce things like refeeds and stuff like that, or they might do 3 weeks of calorie deficit, 1 week of being a maintenance calories and stuff, just to sort of balance out that level. But exercise and being a healthy weight also improves this, guys. So if you exercise, you get yourself down to a healthy weight, you don't need to do fasting. It can be an option, but you do not need to do it unless recommended by a doctor. I don't know if doctors do recommend it, but you don't need to do it. Also, there's been studies showing a decrease in the symptoms of pre-diabetes as well. So again, not my strong point, so I'm not going to go too much into it, but the studies I've looked at have shown that as well. Some of the drawbacks then, guys, is a decrease in muscle protein synthesis. So if you're looking for gains, optimal gains, then it is probably not optimal for you. So I'm going to go into this. So basically, to build muscle or hypertrophy, so to gain muscle, you need to consume an adequate amount of protein. So roughly pure serving, 2 to 3 grams of leucine, which is about 20 to 40 grams of protein. So whether you get that from chicken, shakes, like meats, fish, legumes, all that sort of jazzy stuff. Depends whatever you want to eat, what type of diet you're following. Yeah, so then basically muscle protein synthesis, once you've had an adequate amount of protein, will increase for about 3 hours, roughly. Obviously, there's different theories on it, but we'll just go with 3 hours. After this, then you'll get the muscle fall off effect, the muscle full effect, which then means, right, I can't take any more protein, I'm at full capacity now, so can't take any more. So after about that 3 hours, that will happen, it'll drop down then, but then you need to spike it back up. So that's why people say to have about 4 or 5 meals evenly spread out through the day. That will help you optimally build muscle. But again, we're not going to get too much into that. So that's pretty much it for muscle protein synthesis. What else have we got? People say it can cause them to binge eat because they're restricted. So you might all of a sudden, like people, it can create a negative relationship with food. Like people, I've known people who are like, I can't wait for my first meal. You know, if you're hungry, just eat. Like as long as you're either in your calorie deficit, sticking to your calories, let's say, just eat. Like you don't need, no, like, oh, I got about 1 minute 37 seconds until my fasting ends so I can eat. Is it going to make that much of a difference? No. So yeah, so obviously people have been shown to binge eat, have negative relationships with food and stuff. Like I said, there's a lack of data. It's not optimal for muscle gain, like I said, with the protein synthesis, and there's limited benefits for people other than the obese, in theory. So like if you're already lean, do you need to fast? Probably not. So like I said, the benefits come from the fasting, the calorie deficit, food choices, or the resistance training program. I don't believe we know yet. So I've seen a lot of people going out there, like I said, with this unsolicited advice, more for people promoting fitness and stuff. But I think people just read what they want to read, they tell people what they want to tell them, and they use it either for a financial incentive or an egotistical incentive. So just be careful, guys. People will put these claims out there, and for me personally, until they can get studies and they can show me the facts, it's nonsense, most of it. So like I said, I know there's people out there who's done their research on the health benefits, so like gut health, stuff like that. But that's not me. So I'm talking about getting you into the best shape you can. Obviously, gut health is important to get into that best shape, but do you need to go into that much? I believe you can. Like, I'm all for it, but it's a byproduct. But people are telling you because it's what they want you to hear. They want you to like their photo. They want you to share their photo. But you just be like, oh, this person's so knowledgeable. I think unless they give you a non-biased approach, or they can show you the studies, chances are they're not that educated on that thing. They're just throwing a few scientific words, fancy words, marketable words out there for you to buy. Whether it's to buy a product, or whether it's their Slender Blend coffees, their booties, or stuff like that, the resistance bands, or whatever they're trying to sell you on, or whether it's just to get you to like their photo, stuff like that as well, guys. So just be careful with that one. Like I said, if it helps you adhere to your diet and your calorie deficit, go for it. If you feel it's more of a chore than it is a benefit, don't do it. Like I said, it is a lack of data for you to be like, this is optimal, this is what you need to do. Most of it will come from a calorie deficit. So why you're creating a negative relationship with food is probably not optimal for you. It might work for 2-3 weeks, but then you might go downhill. So there was a golf player, I can't remember, about 10 years ago, I believe. Apparently he's one of the big golf players, not interested in golf at all. Forbes done an article on there. Basically, he didn't eat for 6 days, so he fasted for 6 days. He only drank water and this special blend of coffee. Like coffee's coffee, but for special blend, yeah, fair enough. And he lost 15 pounds in 6 days. Like, oh my god, that's like a stone. Do you know what I mean? Like, fair play to you. In 6 days, not bad. But why did he lose it? Because he weren't eating. So he was in an extreme calorie deficit. How long could you do that for? I just can't remember the number of days you can survive without food, but it's not going to be sustainable. Chances are as well, guys, if you're drinking coffee on an empty stomach, it upsets your stomach, there's caffeine in there. So he's going to the toilet, he's pooing it out, he's excreting. And he called it, a hard reset, because it got rid of the toxins in your body and stuff. Like, if you're having a poo, there's minimal toxins in your poo. So that was nonsense as well. I'll see if I can find that study and that article, and I'll put it up in a video for you, because it's unbelievable. Like the claims he said, and like this hard reset and stuff, I'm detoxing my body. Again, it's something people try to push you towards because they always got a product, there's always a link in their bio. So yeah, just be careful with that one, guys. But I hope you enjoyed. Hope this give you a fair view on intermittent fasting. Like I said, I've tried it. I thought it created a bad relationship with food, because I'd be like, oh, hang on, what if I haven't got time to eat at this time and stuff? But I know people who are like nurses and stuff, who it actually suits them, because in their times they're fasting, they're in work, so they haven't got time to eat anyway. But I also know people who just skip breakfast because they choose to have 30 minutes extra in bed, and then they claim they're fasting, but chances that they just didn't want to get up. So yeah, so hope you enjoyed, guys, and I'll keep more videos coming up soon as well, guys. But for now, if you do have any requests on videos as well, guys, just feel free to message me.